the first step into the management of emotions is internal locus of control. So world is not responsible for us, and in fact no one is responsible for us, neither our parents nor our children nor our spouse, right? We are individual free soul. We are responsible for our emotions. So if we think that because my children are doing this, or parents are doing this, or spouse is doing this, and because of that I am not in a position to manage my emotions, that means you are having external locus of control. You are giving your control of your mind and emotions to someone else. So that is the first aspect. That is the first aspect. If you are in a position to take 100% of the responsibility of your emotions, and if you are having internal locus of control, right, the majority of the work and you acting on the balance steps is possible for you. So the internal locus of control is the first point. And what is the process of doing it? The process of doing it is you have to accept it. Let your brain, whole brain, conscious as well as unconscious mind, accept it that I am responsible for how I feel. No one else in the world is responsible. We have already seen on the emotional agility and the emotional resilience, which are the cornerstones of emotional management, right? So how quickly you are in a position to manage your emotions? Are you following this process of facing your emotions with the kindness, stepping out and observe from the third perspective, knowing your why and associating your values to the response, and then taking one step at a time on this particular journey? So this is emotional agility. Emotional resilience, we have already seen, right? So first is knowing your real nature. So which now you are aware that is okay, we are all one, we are pure consciousness and not the individual body and mind. We have also understood that we need to empty our mind, we need to forgive people, we need to forgive ourselves for a few of the things in our life, right? So we have to empty our mind with the negative memories which drain our energy. We have to embrace positive psychology. Positive psychology doesn't mean you are not facing reality. In the reality, you have a hope for the positive outcome, right? In the reality, accepting reality and be optimistic at the same time is what we talk about embracing the positive psychology. Then we have already seen that we need to accept the suffering. If something is bad happening to you, right? If someone is not behaving rightly as per you, it is all right. It is all right, because in human birth, if you are not going to face that, then you have to go to heaven, right? And since you are not in the heaven, you are going to face that. So once your mind is ready to accept all these particular challenges, the intensity of that particular challenge goes away. Once you accept, means it is like the once you label the emotion, the 50% of the impact goes away. Like that, once you accept the suffering, right, the intensity of the suffering goes away. Then we have also seen the control compass. Many times we tend to get agitated by things which are not in our control. Arey Baba, you are not God, right? You are a normal human being. So just follow the process and do what is possible to you. If it is not possible to you, forget about that. So don't be don't have that emotional turmoil on the things which you are not in a position to control. And of course, the purposeful thinking. Every time you have to ask this particular question: is my thinking and acting beneficial to me? So this is what we have already seen in emotional resilience. I'm just say refreshing that particular topic. So once you are in this particular position, and this is the reason on the slide these particular points are bold. Why in bold? Because they are the essence. If you are in a position to follow this, if you are having this mindset, right, majority of the work is done. Now we are talking about the minority of the work. If you are having internal locus of control, if you take 100% responsibility, if you are emotionally agile, and if you are emotionally resilient, majority of the work done. Now the minority of the work is what now we are going to talk in management of emotions. So the number one, you need to know your behavioral profile. So all of you have already taken this test, and in few sessions we are going to discuss on your behavioral profile, when we will go to the self-awareness and when we will go to the social awareness in our syllabus. So depending upon your behavioral profile, you have emotional needs. A person with a D behavioral profile, where the D is dominant, has a need of winning, has a need of achievement, has a need of leadership, has a need of control. So you must find opportunities for you to do this particular thing. If you are not consciously aware that is your happiness or your emotional balance lies in these activities, you will keep doing something, and then your brain or your emotional brain is looking for these particular say signals, and the brain will not get those signals, and then you will feel depressed, you will feel unhappy about the life. Why? Because you are not creating that small. I'm not saying the achievements means you have to go on the top of the Himalayas or something. You know, that is my brain, my emotions get kick, my emotions get happy when I do. So you will purposely do some kind of achievements, small achievement, so that those particular chemicals will basically help you. If you are I, you require social recognition. Your emotional need is social recognition. If you are C, your emotional need is learning. If you are S, your emotional need is sharing. So unless you share, unless you have few close friends with whom you are in a position to share your emotions, it is very difficult for you to manage your emotions. They will be bottling up inside you, right? So the S person naturally has to share. So once you know, for example, you don't know this, right? If you don't know this, then maybe you will not channelize your emotions rightly. But if you know that I have a S behavioral pattern, and for me, sharing is important for my emotional health, then definitely you will find opportunities, right? So you will try to meet your friend, try to call your friend, you will maybe set up some kind of informal time wherein your friend will share with you, you will share with your friend, right? So this is the intelligence I'm talking about, which you will derive from you knowing your behavioral pattern. And you must have a support system in life, because see, the human being is a social animal. So unless you have a support system in your life, and who is responsible for the support system? You are responsible. No one else is responsible, right? So no one is going to come to you and say that is okay, we are your support system. So you need to basically develop that, right? So if you have that particular support system, and if you know your behavioral profile, if you know your emotional needs, then you are in a much better position to manage your emotions, because there are variety of the ways in which you are going to manage your emotions. So this is the second point. The third point is to know your triggers. Knowing your triggers, of course, requires wisdom and requires introspection and requires some kind of acumen. But even a close attention to your behavior or post-mortem of your behavior means, for example, on this particular instance, you feel little bit more angry. At that time, you are not knowing, but you are, for example, having a practice of writing journal. I don't have that practice. I know that it is good, but somehow I'm not in a position to implement it. I'm saying about my own story. But I know few of my friends are very good in writing a diary, writing a journal. Few of my students are fantastic in writing this particular journal, and they are getting immense benefit of it. Because why? When you write a journal, the incidence has already happened, and that incidence may have more intense emotion, and now you are analyzing, okay, what might be the reason why I feel so emotional, Then you will analyze, oh, okay, so basically, I think that nobody should take disadvantage to me. Again, it depends on your behavioral profile. D people, right, have this particular worry that no one should take disadvantage of themselves. I people have the say they get emotionally agitated if someone will criticize them in public. C people will get agitated when someone will criticize them for their work, not related to the social circle, but their work. They have done something, and to the C person, if someone says that, okay, this is not good, they don't like it. They get emotionally disturbed. For a S people, closeness of the relation is more important. Empathy is more important. If you behave unempathetically with the S person will feel bad. Then he will say, oh, because my behavioral pattern is S, and I was dealing with a D person who was not that empathetic with me. So that is my trigger. What is my trigger? In dealing with the D people, if the D person is not very empathetic, I get agitated, I get depressed, I get disturbed. So now you know the trigger. Now, knowing the trigger is the 50% of the solution. Now, when the same person who is not empathetic in nature, who is not aligned with your expectations or your own nature, you know, this person is going to talk like this. Why I have to get disturbed? See, only knowing, only the knowledge, only you having the knowledge is now going to reduce the intensity of negative emotions or intensity of unpleasant emotions in you, right? And you are now in a position to choose response because you know your trigger. Another extremely important point is hormonal imbalance. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen with the men, but more problems are there in women. Again, because of their body structure, and it is natural, right? Especially during the periods, right? During their menopause. So because of the changes in the estrogen level, right? And means there are some other chemicals also before the period, during the period, 2 weeks after the period. So their emotions naturally, the chemical means like in Munna Bhai, he has said that the chemical locha. So that chemical locha is prevalent. It is natural. And you getting emotionally depressed, feeling helpless, right? And depending upon your behavioral pattern, you will find other people irritating. You will find other people less sensible. You will find other people less, say, emotionally caring. But you don't know that it is your chemicals which is playing. Means I'm not saying that they are behaving fantastically. There can be some behavioral issues in their side also, but because you are under the influence of the chemical, you exaggerate that fact. Means your spouse is doing something which in without that particular chemical locha, you are in a position to manage it. But because you are in your periods or during your menopause or means during these kind of things, you take the things more sensitively, more emotionally, not in a positive sense, but in a negative sense. So you should know this. And you should know, especially I'm talking about the educated class like us, you should know the treatment. You should know that during the menopause, there is a hormone replacement therapy is available. Means you can take specific tablets to manage your emotions. You should know that there is some kind of diet, some kind of exercises, which if you do, you are in a much better position to manage your hormonal imbalance. So these are the things you should do it. So this is a preventive mechanism. It should not happen that you are not aware and then you are having some problem. You already know, na? You already know that this is going to happen with me, and now I have to take this care because it is a trigger for you. Periods is a trigger for you. Menopause is a trigger for you, right? So you should plan for those particular triggers in advance. Yogic practices, pranayama. Pranayama means I'm not going to talk because most of you are already aware. So it is about the say management of your breath, and there are a variety of the pranayamas, right? So this particular science, the yogic science of the pranayama, and which you can study parallelly to this particular program, can make a lot of difference in your emotional management. A fantastic science for mindfulness, a fantastic science for emotions management, pranayama. And mindfulness meditation, which we are going to do today at the end of the session. Again, there are very some kind of easy things which we should do. Maybe the people who are not aware, maybe the people who are living in remote places may not be aware about this thing, but we are aware. So should we not take benefit? That is okay. How can I enhance my emotional health? By supplements and diet. B12 and D3 are the root causes of your immunity power as well as emotional issues. So every 6 months, one must check the blood and especially B12, D3 and all kind of vitamins, and should take the supplements of the B12 and D3. Because the B12 and D3, because of the environment, because of our lifestyle, because of we are not going into the sun that much, right? And because of the variety of the other things, it is in 80% of the cases, there is a deficiency of the B12 and D3, which are directly related to your emotional health. Omega-3, probiotics. What is that? Yakult. Why? Because our emotions are directly connected with your gut. If your stomach is upset or if your digestion system gets weak, it directly has a connection with your emotions, and you get depressed, you get uneasy, you get irritated very easily if your stomach is upset. So you need to take care of your stomach, your body. Even the green tea is very good for emotional health. And of course, sattvic food helps. I'm not saying that everyone has to take the sattvic food, but especially why the sattvic food is important, because of our lifestyle. Our lifestyle doesn't need that kind of food which our maybe ancestors were having, where they were having so much of exercise and the environment and the purity of the air was totally different. Now in this particular period, unless you have a sattvic food, right, unless you have a less masala food, I know it is easy to say and difficult to handle depending upon your culture, your lifestyle. You do have your food preferences and all that, but I'm just telling you that the sattvic food is directly related to your emotional health. Simple. Whole food, whole grains food is directly related to your emotional health. I'm not talking about only health, I'm talking about emotional health. So these are the things, these are the supplements and the diets which directly enhances your emotional health. Then there are techniques like 4 square breathing exercise. Of course, there are many breathing exercises, but the 4 square is one of the easy and the simple exercises. That is, first, you have to hold your breath for the 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, you are holding, right? Then you are taking the breath inside. After taking the breath inside, again means you have to take 4 counts, breath inside. Again, you have to wait for 4 counts. Again, you have to exhale with the 4 counts. Like that. Again, you have to hold the breath. So every action you are doing for 4 seconds. So this is called as a 4 square breathing exercise. It directly cools down your mind. If you are depressed or if you are feeling uneasy, this 4 square breathing exercise is a very quick technique. Means you have to do it only for 2 minutes. Right, within that 2 minutes, you will feel that because of this particular technique of this breath control, automatically your emotions will subside. Physical activity absolutely helps. Means if you are feeling disturbed, just go for a walk. If you can jog, fantastic. Right, jogging is excellent. If you are a gym goer, fantastic. Go to gym. Because the chemicals what the body will release, means body means the brain will release due to the physical activity, serotonin and all that. So it is directly going to impact your emotional health. Shifting your focus means, for example, you are feeling uneasy, just shift your focus. Shift your focus from that particular person, that particular situation temporarily. I'm not saying shifting the focus is the solution. No, shifting the focus is a solution of reducing the intensity of the emotions. Right now, I'm not talking about the problem. The problem can be solved after that also. But just shift the focus. Go for music, go for dance, go for movie, see some other thing, do some other activity, and come back to that particular problem, come back to that particular discussion. Do not do the things in the heat of the moment. Do not, just shift the focus. Shifting the focus is again a wonder. No technology, very simple technology, just shifting the focus. Why? Because it gives you the time. Because emotions, right? So the means again, it is a science and people have proved it, that the intensity of the emotions is up to 90 seconds. It is like a wave. So the wave will go to the shore. It will be there on the shore. Means it will have some kind of, say, stay there, and then it will again go back. So this particular cycle in case of human brain is of a 90 seconds. So if you can manage those particular 90 seconds, you can respond brilliantly. This is the 90 seconds I'm talking about. But of course, I'm not talking about shifting your focus only for the 90 seconds. You can shift your focus for a considerable period of the time and come back. But when you manage the emotion, means for example, if something is happening and you are feeling an intense urge to react, always remember this 90 seconds, and I'm going to tell you that subsequently. Your reaction will change to response only because of this 90-second technique, which we are going to go into the detail anyway. Change of your physiology and your environment is also a great technique. Means, of course, means you will feel it funny, but for example, you are feeling depressed or angry, just make your face as a smiling face. You are feeling differently, you are feeling angry, you are feeling depressed, but still you are doing like this. Although that means not in front of people, otherwise they will laugh at you, right? But you only do this. Now, there is a direct connection between the physiology and your brain. Your subconscious mind is like a child. Subconscious mind doesn't understand that you are faking or it is real. Subconscious mind thinks, okay, you are smiling. Okay, you are smiling means you are happy. And the brain releases those happiness chemicals. Brain releases those serotonin. This is the beauty. This is the beauty of your physiology. So just try to change the physiology and you will see that your emotions will subside. Of course, change of the environment, go out and outing. See, go to the nature. See, and there is a technique, there is a technology called as grounding yourself. So you be near the nature. When you are feeling emotionally disturbed, touch the soil. Let your hands, let your feet touch the soil. Be grounded. Go to the nature and you will feel that your emotional health is enhancing like anything.